We spend a lot of our time in the garden weeding, and we can make those weeds work for us. Fast-growing weeds are a rich source of nutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, as well as hormones and trace minerals. When we drink tea from herbs, we get the vitamins, minerals, essential oils extracted from the plants, and our body takes up the nutrients. Plants can do the same with weed tea. You can give transplants a boost when they're actively growing with weed tea. So to make a quick tea, you can use chard, alfalfa, or comfrey, and just chop it coarsely. Add it to a blender. About 2 cups of plant material added to a blender, cover with hot water, and then blend thoroughly. Let it cool and then strain it with a spine sieve, cheesecloth, or a coffee filter, and then you can add the herbs to your compost pile or use as mulch. As the tea cools, then use it as a soil drench or use it as a fertilizer for indoor or outdoor plants. Swiss chard has calcium, phosphorus, vitamin A, B12, C, and trace minerals. There are many other weeds that you can use. This is going to be a longer brew weed feed tea that I like to make, and you just use whatever you have growing. There's going to be a list of herbs to choose from as well as directions on our website, but mix as many weeds as possible for the best array of nutrients. Now this tea can be messy and smelly, so keep it away from the house, but many organic fertilizers can be pretty smelly anyway. If you've ever used fish emulsion, you know what I'm talking about. People made their own fertilizers for centuries from things like this before they were able to buy them from the store. So some things you can use would be comfrey, chard, equisetum, lamb's quarter, nettles, willow branches, chickweed, dandelions, dried and chopped eggshells, coffee grounds, cleavers, chamomile, lawn clippings, all kinds of things. And you'll just coarsely chop these weeds and place them in a mesh bag. I use these produce bags and just chop it up fairly large. And the mesh bag strains out the larger particles of the weed tea and just makes it easier to use the finished tea. You don't have to do this step. You can just put the chopped material in the bucket loose, but then you'll want to cover this material with either rainwater or a water that doesn't have chlorine in it. So if you've got tap water, just let that tap water sit out for a week or so before you brew a weed tea, because the chlorine is going to kill the microbes that are going to break down the nutrients in the weeds. Let this stand for several days. If you chop up your weeds, it's going to work faster, just like with compost. The smaller the material, the faster it brews. Again, it is pretty smelly, so don't do this close to the house. And you'll want to put a cover over the 5-gallon bucket, either a solid cover or at least do a mosquito cover to keep the mosquitoes out. I use row cover with a bungee cord or window screening, everything, something like that, and then stir it every few days, and then strain this. Just pull the mesh bag out. You could also use a pillowcase. Add 1 part of the tea to 4 or 5 parts of water. You want it to be fairly diluted, and then water around your plants, not on the foliage. This could have microbes that could be harmful, so you don't want to use it on edible plants at harvest time. And then add the tea residues to the compost pile and start over another batch of brew. Remember to go to our website to find out more information about which weeds to use and the ways to do it. For Backyard Basics, I'm Trisha Shirey.